3-2 capital G here. The 20 archetype structure deck voting has officially concluded. The polls are closed and all the ballots and votes have been cast and counted. We now know what is going to be our future structure deck when it comes to the archetype voting. And as you guys can see right here from the graph, this was not without drama leading up into the final moments, and there was even some cheese as the final winner ultimately won by a margin of 1%. Just 1 single percent decided the votes in the end. So if you guys did not cast your vote, there is no doubt in my mind you 100% could have actually affected this poll. But Shadows are your winners. Our next structure deck, or I can't technically say our next structure deck because Konami could make this our next one. They can make it a structure deck after that. Who knows? It's really up to them. But Shadows will be getting a structure deck in the future. They won fair and square, and never underestimate the power of cute girls. Now, the reason that I say that there was a whole lot of drama is because, and I should have actually covered this a couple of days ago, something pretty damn miraculous happened within the last couple of days, something that really actually surprised me, and that's because leading up to today, the deck that was actually in the pole position was surprisingly Sacred Beast. If you guys don't know, when the top 10 was first revealed, Sacred Beasts were all the way down here in the 6th spots, and they jumped all the way to first place. It just started receiving a flurry of votes. I'm not exactly sure where the votes came from, but Sacred Beast had a run where they were just getting all the votes. They were getting slammed with support, and they had actually jumped Shadows and ended up in first place. Honestly, it looked like Sacred Beast were going to win this poll up until maybe about 12 hours ago, leading into the final stretch run. People have said, hey, the Shadow supporters were fighting dirty. They were using these ad campaigns with cute girls saying, don't forget to, vote for Shadows. And you can't underestimate the power of cute girls. I feel like it doesn't matter what you have in Yu-Gi-Oh, how cool an archetype is. If it's going to be fighting against cute girls, it has almost no chance of actually winning. But it was really surprising that Sacred Beast had did so well, and it kind of managed to not only break into the top 5, but actually jumped as far as the first place, jumping over archetypes like Charmers and Trap Tricks and some of the other cute girl archetypes. But in the end, it was simply not meant to be, and Shadow started receiving a lot of support within the final 12 hours of the poll. I feel like including a lot of the competitive players, because from what I saw online, a lot of competitive players were saying the same thing. They were saying that, we should vote for Shadows instead of Sacred Beast because it's much easier to essentially fix Shadows, an archetype that has proven itself to be, a YCS winner. If I'm not mistaken, Patrick Hoban won a YCS with Shadows in 2015. I think it was a Shadow Lightsworn hybrid, but we've seen Shadows be able to win at the highest level in the OCG and in the TCG. Sacred Beasts have never been competitive, so Konami would have had to do a complete overhaul on the Sacred Beast archetype, and I think that most people, competitive players especially, thought that it would be more likely that Shadows could be fixed as opposed to Sacred Beast, where Konami kind of has to tear everything down. Shadows still do have powerful cards like Window, which, that card is good in today's meta game. So I think people were looking at Shadows like, hey, there's a much better chance that Konami can maybe make this archetype 100% meta relevant with the addition of maybe 5 and 6 cards. Plus, I think a lot of people still have a sour taste in their mouth because of the original Shadow Construct, Shadow Construct, the Link monster, the one from the Link Frames. Is she from Link Frames 2 or 1? I can't actually remember. I feel like it might. You know what? It's in the TCG, so I think that it is Link Frames 1, and how bad that card is. You would imagine that much like Gladiator Beast, Konami would try to fix the Link monster and give Shadows a second Link monster in this structure deck. Because again, Glad Beasts were in the same position. They got a terrible Link monster in Link Frames 1. Konami threw that shit out the window and said, here guys, here's more support. We'll give you a good Link monster this time. I will say, full disclosure, I actually did yesterday morning. I voted for Sacred Beast because I don't know, man. I wanted some new Sacred Beast cards, and I just felt like Shadows already had their run. Like, they were already competitive at 2015, even into 2016, so I wanted to see something new. But who knows, considering how popular and how much reaction there was and engagement from Yu-Gi-Oh players around the world, maybe Konami will do this next year. I kind of wish that they would start doing this every single year rather than just kind of shoehorning in structure decks from the GX and the old 5Ds era, because a lot of times those those structure decks can be hit or miss. Even if they are like good structure decks on paper, it's not necessarily what people want. I think it's just a better idea to let fans vote for the archetypes, and maybe Konami will pick some of these archetypes like Sacred Beasts and Charmers, ones that maybe didn't win but obviously got a lot of fan engagement, and Konami will put them in a future poll, because I feel like this was definitely successful. And even though I didn't want Shadows to win, I definitely want them to be as good as possible if Konami is going to go ahead and try to make them like an excellent meta deck. But whatever you guys think about Shadows winning, what are your hopes for Shadows? Whatever you guys want to see for the archetype, leave it in the comment section below. If you were sad, what archetype did you want to see win? Leave that in the comment section below as well. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.